Yeah, cleaning this off of here would definitely make it easier. Gonna be some nasty on the lathe, that's for sure.
It's our log on the lathe. Let's get this thing wound. Now, I ain't gonna lie. This log is about as dry as a log as I've ever took. I literally took it out of the fire pit from a couple nights prior. Those two logs just were the two that was left. They didn't get burns. I decided to do a little project with it. And it definitely has no mercy on the tools. It dog quick. It does take me quite a while to get this thing round to a point where I can start shaping out what I'm wanting. So, yeah, it's really beating on me in the process.
I need to mark her out.
I'm definitely happy now that I'm at a point where I can at least mark it out and be able to start shaping it all off. So let's watch, see how it goes. And for those who are wondering, today I am doing a pair of lamps. One individual, one that had exploded on me off the lathe. However, I actually had a viewer that's seen it, a successful one that is, and asked me to make a pair of them. So,
All right, time to take a break.
this is where that's going to be coming for. So let's see how it all comes out. All right, that crack right there, it may and definitely will come back and haunt me later. I'm gonna keep an eye on it, but yeah, it don't get any better than that look right there. What I'm working on right here is the initial thickness of the stem to go all the way down. So I need, I believe, somewhere around the 2-inch, inch and a half type. But let's see why.
Coming along pretty good.
You're gonna see up here pretty soon that that crack, and it goes way down, and it was.
Evaluate this
Really,
crack.
yeah. Let's see what happens. A lot goes on during this. Actually, I'm going to be videoing both of my lamps that I'll be doing, because they all got their own unique little issues. However, the second one, I won't spend so much time on it going through as I am. The first one, since it's pretty much the same process, just with its own little hiccups. So, let's see what we got going on here and figure this all out. Yes, I did. I brought the carbide out again. Yeah, it saves me some time. Sharpening all the time. I'm not all that good anyway, so every time I'm doing it, even though I'm learning, it's just, I need something that can last a little longer, so carbide it is for a little bit. Yeehaw. What's going to be a little unique about this lamp, it's going to be done all as one piece. I actually got a touch lamp shade type thing from a Timu, and actually it's pretty nice. You just charge it. It's a touch lamp and all that. It's going to be pretty cool. Just needed a good base. So instead of just designing out a lamp, I decided to just do a lamp and a little catch-all, little bowl type at the bottom. Something a little different. And yeah, I have some interesting things happening. So let's see. As you see, I took it off the bone spur and put it on the chuck just in time to catch a nasty catch and blow my side of my wall. So to fix that, I'm gonna have to start redesigning closer towards the headstock. So, oh Lord, here we go. Let the fun begin. Yeah, right here, I have to be real careful. All I'm trying to do is break off a little piece on the head, just to give me my length that I need for the stem, and let the frustration sit in.
Now I'm going to have to do that tenon over again. So, that'll be it for today. I got some repairs to do on that before I try to salvage it.
Yep. Took 3 days to get over this one.
Got fixed the tenon on this thing. So that'll be the first thing I mess with.
Making the adjustments that I needed really was not that bad. It's just that it was a bad day of turning some real hard wood, and by the end of the day, frustration sets in a little bit, but other than that, it's coming along really nice. Like the way it's shaping out. As you can see, I was working on the stem some more, because, you know, it's basically I believe it's going to be 7 inches I need of. Anything extra off of that is all to be cut off, so. But to get there, I got to have the base completed, hollowing done, and that gives me a good strong idea where my top is going to be. So let's see how it goes. Yepper, this log, it was just as hard today turning as it was 3 days ago. Oh man, but it's moving along. It's coming out pretty good. Almost down there to the bowl area.
I don't know what this is going to cause. Hopefully nothing serious.
Yeah, that was some pretty nasty caves in that bowl area. It's going to be interesting to see how that all comes out. Now, this is the most important part of this area right here to me right now. Because if I blow this out, if this project is done, I have to go find another log. And what's the chances of finding another log from the same pit that has no other logs there for me to use? So, got 2 logs, I need 2 lamps. So, super glue and sawdust to the rescue. They're gonna become my buddy a little bit. It does save me. But, as you can see, crazy glue, I don't know. CA glue, I might have maybe ordered a too thick one or something, because everybody else's flow a lot easier than this one. Mine just sticks up and around, and yeah, I glue my fingers together once in a while, but it's all fun, you know? But yeah, let's see how this goes. Yeah, basically what I'm doing right now is seeing how deep I want the bottom. So looks like I got just over an inch still to hollow out. So let's get back to it. Yeehaw! I believe right now I'm using the carbide, the round carbide. It really guts out pretty nice outside of blue guards, but yeah, it's nice. Let's see if I get into troubles down the road here.
Alright, that's good enough. So this inside is pretty well
Alright,
done.
just like all I gotta do is just fine tune some stuff and work on that stem to get it to the right size and be ready for some sanding, drilling, whatever else is on the menu come tomorrow.
This is pretty well done. Alright, taking a look at it there the next morning. I gotta fill here a little bit. There's a crack right there that you can kind of see through, so I have to take a look at this a little closer. But overall, not bad. Let me get this part here off. So I need to get it down to about the size I want. So let's start there then.
Alright, put the parting tool on and then after that, cut it off.
Yeah, that's about what I want right there. Cut the rest of it off. Yeah. Should take care of that. Alright. I'm gonna keep this handy. You never know when you need something like this around. And I need some measurements here to see what kind of trouble I got myself into.
First thing I'm looking at doing is bringing down the stem to the same size all the way down. There it goes to an inch and an inch and a half, the final size. So.
Right.
We'll see.
So that's fine if that's a little bit bigger, because this is where I got to drill down. So let's see what size am I looking at drilling. An inch and an eighth. Not bad. This got to come down. So all that's got to come down. Before I fill this hole here up, let me bring this down to about where I want it. And then see what I got in here. But let's not get dangerous. Nothing dangerous.
Famous last words. Don't get dangerous. Where I said that.
See what she's looking like. It's getting there.
Now bring out the carbide to help trim down towards the base. And those two catches there, hey, it's only going to get worse if I don't be careful. So you just slow it down some and watch the bevel and try to clean that, keep clean cuts. See what happens. Alright, back to the round carbide. It's coming along pretty smooth. It helps catches if I don't watch myself with it. But for the most part, it probably teach me the best besides this bow guard that I'm using now. But this thing here, I just gotta be careful feeding it in, because if I don't, it's gonna bite hard. Get a big old chunk. All right, let's get that neck of that thing down.
For now, moving right along. Give it an hour or so, see how I feel. All right, later.
All I gotta do today, sand it, seal it, polish it, put lacquer, drill the hole, prep it out, boom, 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 it's done. Let's see. All right, we gotta drill in, I believe it's about 3.5 inches, something like that. Let's see how we go. Yeah, that was a catch. I didn't clear it enough, and let's hope I can pull this out without ripping that off. Don't do that. Okay, easy, easy, easy. Okay. Oh boy, 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 that could have been nasty. All right, time to apply some sanding sealer.
Let her drink. She told you let her drink.
That's right, let her drink. That's why it's called sanding sealer. Stuff here is going to seal it. All right, let's buff this thing out. Let's see what happens.
Let's see. Damn, she look good. Holy smokes, she's looking nice. Oh yeah.
I'm not gonna kid you. It is beautiful. Even before the lacquer. Grain and patterns throughout from the burnt wood itself, and everything just lined up with this. I like it. Now let's see what happens with 3-4 coats. Really making sure I put a nice thick coat on the walls going around the base. I really need that to fit, to thicken up.
Sit there for a bit.
To thicken up, and yeah.
I got 2 hours.
All right, time for the second coat. And then 2 hours later, I'll come back again.
Alright, here goes the last coat. That should do her up. Alright, let's see.
Tell you what, it's going to be beautiful after this third coat's put on there. I'm not sure I'm going to need a fourth one, because it's sure looking good right now. What do y'all think? Leave a comment. Let me know what you think of it up to this point.
Alright, that's the last coat.
Alright, got it turned around, and now let's work on getting that tenon. And make sure that it's concaved, so that when they like that, that whole tenon right there has got to come down. So let's get that all done up and make it so there's room so it sits nice and flat. Got a little enough left.
That's it.
But
The rest of it I'll cut off.
yeah, cut that bad off. Be safe.
Almost perfect. So now just sand that off. And see what the top's gonna look like. Alright, this is pretty much the last I gotta do to it before
And that being some lacquer on the very bottom.
on. So let's get this done. Put on it just enough. Nice coat, blend everything in. Come on. Yes, make it all pretty. Alright, that bad boy is done.
Alright, now you gotta stick around to the end to see what the turnout was for this one and the next lamp coming up. Here we go.
Alright, here's the second lamp that's going to get started to put the pair together. So, it shaked a lot at 200, but as I was increasing it, I was able to get it to about 700. The shake really slowed down, so now I can do something with this, which is really what I needed. So, let's see if I can get this thing starting to round off.
Unlike the first lamp, it is definitely nice to be able to get past that first shaking and get it beyond. Really start at 700
See how
plus.
she's going here. Tenon's going on this side, so I'm going to try to do the majority here to get the tenon on as quick as I can. See what happens.
Alright, now I'm gonna go ahead and start working on the tenon here so get this thing flipped around and do a little chunk. Yeah, I'm having to clean this all the way up, all the way down, and then make a tenon. It's pretty awkward. So let's see how it goes. Alright, about ready to start on my tenon. There we go. Looking pretty good.
Dang, that was hard. Holy smokes.
Alright, let's clean up the tenon a little bit so we get a little chuck and then figure out how I'm going to get this nub out of my way.
Dinky dinky off of here without throwing it off the lathe.
Remember, I said without throwing it off the lathe. And away she goes. Dang it.
That one way to get her off.
I guess that's one way to get it off, but I went ahead and cut it off with the blade and put it back in the lathe and just clean up that tendon area a little bit. Just trying to tidy up the tendon and turn it around.
Let's get it going.
Let's get this thing rounded down, get the stem worked on, get out the bowl, see how many times I gotta make the bowls, all that good stuff. A lot of unknowns right now, but one thing I do know is we have to get round. So I'm happy that I'm able to spin this thing at least 700-800 right now. So a few measurements here and there, start marking things out. Then I know where my lamp's going to be, hopefully. So let's start working on the stem.
That's hard. Look at that. Whew.
Although the wood is hard, that scraper right there is me being greedy. Trying to take too much wood and with the tool and stuff. So, but anyways, look at that. Stem's coming along.
That's a good thing.
Although I am able to window this log down a little quicker, it is still dry. It is still hard as all can be.
All right, that's all I'm doing for today. I'll leave this up here like this. Tomorrow I'll come in, fine tune it all down. This thing done put a whooping on my back, so I gotta go give it a little rest for the rest of the day here. And I should be able to have it finished up tomorrow.
You're looking pretty good for where I'm at right now. So let's see what happens for
Morning,
today.
everyone. Ready to get this going again. See what we get.
What I'm working on right now is I want to see just about where I'm going to put the stem at. Not the final part, just before it. To see how I do.
Basically to the inside of that. It's got to be faster. Bring this bad boy out here and see what gets done a little quicker.
Your crack right there, pilots. We'll see what happens. Using my carbide just to chew this down. I don't feel like sharpening it all that much today, but we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, that's pretty nice. I like it when it goes easy like that. Alright, that's about it. Go down a little more, but let me just get everybody to that size and then we'll fine tune it. Somewhere's in there. So that stuff there. Funny. Now let me get it down. Aye. Where do I need it at?
Although the bottom's become a concern, once I realized the actual diameter of the bottom.
Guess what? If I bring it down to there, that
Yep.
should be my
Yep,
exterior
baby.
bowl.
Look
Okay,
out pretty nice.
good. Yeah. Not the way I expected it, but I'll take it.
Let's get a little quick look, see, make sure what my diameter is going to be, how deep I want to go. Nothing. Man, that's cut so pretty.
Alright, we got a couple minutes to fill some of these up here.
All right, time for some crazy glue and sawdust.
Weasel back. Alright, let's see here. Let's see what
All
we
right,
can
bringing
do
my
with this
round
one a little bit.
carbide out and trying to get this bowl started out. We'll see how long I'm using this thing for. All right, switching over to my bowl gauge. Let's see what happens. So there's some nice shape that's coming off of that. I like that. All right, time to check my
Yeah,
depth.
I got about just under half inch to go still. I gotta be careful for this part. That real punky and will take nothing to knock it off. So I gotta be careful there.
My round carbide is definitely doing me great justice this year. Yeah, buddy. I can really cut smooth like that. Let's hope that continues. Let's check the depth. It is looking like it's coming very low.
Just gotta clean it up. That's good. Easy.
Alright, let's get this stem a little closer to final size. And work our way down.
It's not being this way, but
Alright, over here I brought the first one up for the size and everything. I'm just gonna mark it out, get ready to cut it off, and drill it down that way. was a smart decision to cut it off. Now it's time to work the final slabs.
Yeah, I think I need to just start sanding it now. I'll round everything off. Get that stuff sealed. Alright, let's put some number 2 right now. Oh, very nice. I like that. That's nice. Nice green. Yep. Once I put some lacquer to the bottom of that bad boy, she ain't gonna have to worry about nothing. She ain't gonna break apart. Put a good coat on her. But this is awesome. This is nice. Both got their own unique markings, but it's very nice. Yeah, it's a little messy there. I'll let that soak up for a minute and come back. Then cook through it while I buff it out.
All right, let's get our 3.5 inch cut in here and see what we get. You will see here in a moment that I will notice that this piece that goes in there in the dead center is supposed to be drilled out so I can screw in the lamp. But it ain't drilled out. Look at that. What the hell?
Okay, right now. Look at this. This got no hole in it.
Yeah, I had some colorful terms, but let's keep this family in it.
Final coat. And then let it dry and that'll be it. So that should be the last of it. See how she looks when she's done.
Let's get the parting tool in there, part this thing off, and finish the bottom off, and see what we have for show. Well, if you made it this far and you stuck around, you share a little share, like, subscribe, and definitely a compliment. Another time. Thank you all. I want to thank everybody that's made it to the end. Now, the reveal. Dun. Here's my lamps. 2 of them, left and right. There's, the lights on. This thing is just absolutely beautiful. Pictures don't do it justice.